Oh, I'm slacking. 1 second. Oh, there we go. I forgot to flip that off. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Green Bay Rewind. First and foremost, if you couldn't tell, I am battling a cold that my son was generous enough to give me. And much like all good top tier people in their profession, the show must go on. When Jordan had his flu game, that's tonight's kind of like my flu game. So my voice is thrashed, but we're gonna make it through. I think I got an hour in me. We'll see. Maybe I have more of a voice for radio now. Kind of feels very I don't know, very off. So hopefully we can endure it. Hopefully we can get through it. So my apologies ahead of time. I am gonna drop the link for the giveaway. Uh if you haven't entered before, please only enter one time. If you're new to the show, just please make sure that you enter one time. I do see someone's watching from Paul from Australia. Paul, appreciate you being here. I'll give you a shout out here in a second and pull up your comment. If you do win, Paul, if you're here and still watching and you win, we'll have to figure out shipping because shipping to Australia seems very expensive. So welcome. Before we kind of get into some check-ins here, I did want to let you know that next Tuesday, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to do the show. I had some family stuff come up, some personal stuff that I'm working through right now. I'm hoping to still do it maybe on Thursday, but I know right now Tuesday is not going to be a go due to those obligations. Not going to go into much detail beyond that, but just wanted to let you guys know that next Tuesday is going to be a wash, and I do apologize in advance. Um, keep an eye out if we end up doing it Thursday. If we do it Thursday, the streak counter that we have, I'm not going to count that against you if you can't make it here next Thursday. I know that changes the schedule for a lot of people, and some people's availabilities change. So my apologies. I'm definitely not going to make a habit of it. Like I said, it's just a personal thing that happened this week that I got to take care of. So all right, let's see who's watching, who's checking in. I see Ron's here as always. Ron, good to see you again. Whoa, what is going on here? I don't know why this changed. Give me 1 second. Because I do not like that style, but maybe I don't have the ability to change it anymore. Okay. I don't think they must not let me style that anymore. Well, that's interesting. Well, Ron, good to see you on the road from Lambeau Field to Appleton. What was going on at Lambeau Field? Did I miss something? I must have. And then we have Corey and Logan, as always. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you swinging in. Derek in South Dakota. Appreciate you being here again, man. Paul in Australia. Good day, mate. It's probably, guys, it's got to be super early there. I talk to Corey all the time. My friend Corey, who lives in Australia, big Packers fan, and his time zones. And you guys are always in the future. So we got Jenny in Germantown. Good to see you again, Jenny. Heather coming to Green Bay tomorrow. That's fantastic. If you have any questions, need anything, feel free to shoot me an email, message, chat, text, whatever. The Tullys in Iowa. My boy Wade. Good to see you. Love you too, man. Haven't seen him in a minute. I would love to see you again soon. Wade and I used to be roommates. Wade was the first episode of a podcast I did a long time ago. He's horrible at Madden, so if he ever tells you otherwise, don't listen to him. But yeah, good to see you, Wade. Raimundo, appreciate you, man. Yes, definitely one of my favorite jerseys. My wife's aunt actually gifted it to me from the Super Bowl run. She had it, and you just picked up Woodson. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. Kent, good to see you. Oh, Antonio Freeman at the Hall of Fame. Cool, very cool. That's really cool. I completely missed that, but I'll have to catch you. Like, I'm still hoping before the end of the year that I can get a day off and get some lunch, Ron. If not, it'll be early in the year. Belmont Pickens, good to see you. Wyowega from Tony. Jason, good to see you. I got to get together with you again, Jason, soon. So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So, no time better than the present. We have the Packers defeating the 49ers 38-10, which is fantastic. I did see that in their 74 games they've played, that is the largest margin of a victory for either team. So the Packers really stuck it to the 49ers, which was, I you know, I don't care. I don't care if the local high school had to play in place of the 49ers. Anytime you can wax the 49ers is a great feeling. There's no such thing as a moral victory in the NFL. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a victory and you're moving on. So I I'm just happy to get a win. I feel like now the 49ers haven't had our number like we've had the Bears number or anything like that. I think I saw prior to last week's game, 3 out of the 4 games we've beat them during the regular season. They've just always had our number in the postseason. So it maybe isn't as of a big of a like monkey off your back as say like if you were to wax them in the postseason kind of thing. But it still feels good nonetheless. I saw that the Packers, after beating them, have like a 90% chance to make the postseason. And after the 49ers lost, I think their odds of making it to the postseason have like dropped to 12%. They play the Bills this weekend, which is going to be a tough game for them. I hope that they make it very close, that they start maybe putting some pieces together and putting some wins together. And I hope they just narrowly miss the playoffs so they have a late draft pick or a later draft pick and they don't get to the postseason. That would be my hope. But the Packers did advance to 8-3 while the 49ers fell to 5-6. This was Jordan Love's first game this season without an interception. I know there's a couple that maybe should have been intercepted, but there's also a touchdown pass that was, or a pass that should have been a touchdown, and that's just the way the NFL goes. We saw his game against the Cardinals where he had a ball that was intercepted that wasn't his fault, and that's the way the cookie crumbles in the NFL. He finished his day 13 of 23 with 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, and once again that missed opportunity to Watson where that probably would have added another 50, 60 yards on his stat line plus another touchdown. I'm going to try to take some extra drinks tonight as the show goes on to keep the throat lubricated best I can. I did make a post during the game when Malik came in for garbage time that I was like, the Jordan Love haters get what they've been wanting. They get what they've been asking for, and Malik is coming in place of Jordan Love. And I don't think a lot of people saw the humor in it or maybe understood that it was a very sarcastic kind of poking fun at Jordan Love haters, because I had a lot of people. You should go back and check the comments. I ended up having to block some people, but there's some people that took that a little too personally, which was pretty funny. And I know people wanted Love to have this bigger game, right? The 49ers are beat up and they're without a lot of offensive weapons, but San Francisco still has a very solid defense. I know they were missing Bosa, but even without Nick Bosa, that defense is a very solid defense. And for the offense to have the performance they did against that 49ers defense, even without a Bosa, is, I don't know, I think that says something. You saw Josh Jacobs have 26 carries for over 100 yards, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is a monster game. He had a lot of opportunities in very short and goal to go opportunities to be able to just get in there. So fantastic job on his end. And he created 15 broken or missed tackles, which is the most by any ball carrier this season. On the season so far, he has almost 1,000 yards rushing, which is third in the NFL. He has 944 all-purpose yards. He has 1,130 all-purpose yards and 7 touchdowns. So that's a big signing. We talked about it last week. I was concerned about losing Aaron Jones and potentially losing that productivity, and I was very well aware of Josh Jacobs and what he could bring to the team. But I felt Aaron Jones was so intertwined in this offense that I was worried that it almost felt like I was worried it was going to be kind of like another Jimmy Graham situation where you had this vertical tight end that was maybe fitting elsewhere, and now you bring him here and you try to put him in this puzzle, and the pieces don't necessarily fit. Now, I think we got Jimmy too late in his career, and maybe he was kind of past that point, but it was still something I was worried about, that maybe we're trying to make this component fit in an offense that maybe it didn't fit. But I don't know that I could be more wrong. Josh has looked, I mean, honestly, he's looked like an upgrade over Aaron Jones, and that's not to knock Aaron. Aaron's a phenomenal player, but he's brought so much to this team, not only from an on-field perspective. We talked about who's going to be stepping up as a leader, and I think Josh is one of those. I wasn't sure since he had just gotten here, but from some of the interviews I've listened to, it really sounds like players really respect him and look to him as a leader. So phenomenal signing. We'll be talking about that a little bit more. Last week, I said, I think Quay should start seeing limited snaps, and I thought Quay was just not taking that leap that I wanted him to do. And then he goes out and has probably the best game of his career. He had that dropped interception, which there's a reason he plays defense. You obviously don't want to lose those opportunities, especially against a team that can make you pay. However, that being said, he had 2 tackles for losses, a couple big tackles for losses, and then he had 7 total tackles on the day, one of which was an assisted tackle. So really, really good showing for him, and I hope he can keep building off of that game, and hopefully keeps finding the the confidence to keep building off of that, because man, if we can have him and Edgerrin playing together and playing lights out like that, it's going to be great. We saw 3 turnovers on the day. We finally saw a play from Keyshawn Nixon. He said it's been a long time since he's got a play. We saw that forced fumble on Christian McCaffrey, which was huge. The Lucas Van Ness strip sack. Oh my gosh, what a play. Blew up the tackle, then comes around and pushes McCaffrey, just throws McCaffrey, forces the fumble, and then I think Kenny Clark recovered it, which was it. If you haven't seen the replay of it from the live game, you need to go back and find it, because it just looks like poetry in motion. It is beautiful to watch. Just keep it on replay. It's absolutely stunning. And then we saw Xavier's 7th pick on the year. One thing that was pretty impressive to me. One second. One thing that was pretty impressive to me was the Packers' ability to keep McCaffrey's rushing yards to only 31 yards. I know we talked about with like Purdy out and without their Trent Williams, their tackle. I was like, well, it's still not a gimme, right? We saw an NFC championship game where I think I could have played quarterback and it wouldn't have had any difference on the game. They ran all over us and there was no answer for the run. I was concerned that Christian McCaffrey could kind of have that performance. Our run defense isn't the most spectacular defense. So I was really happy to see us keep him in check the entire game. Now I know he's by no means fully healthy. I think he has the knees of like a 90-year-old now. And I don't know if he's having a case of the Madden curse or what he's got going on, but man, I'm sorry for my voice. Hopefully it's not too terrible on your end, but it feels rocky on my end. Let's kind of check some comments here as I'm swinging through. I got Swag Coda coming in from Minnesota. Hey, buddy. Yep. Yeah, I mean, right there. God, I do not like this new I mean, it looks nice, but I like the old style a little bit better. Uh, First of all, teams need to establish a run game. Yeah, and we saw that this game. They really established it, and they made it an emphasis, which you saw it open up things for the offense. Yeah, Kirby, what a 5 minutes that was, man. That 5 minutes that I thought we had Jones and Jacobs was like euphoria. You're like, okay, Jones is going to be able to stay kind of fresh throughout this whole season. If he does go down, we have Josh Jacobs, and these two are going to be the 1-2 on this team. Yeah, that was an incredible 5 minutes in Packers history. And then it shattered us, you know, shattered our hearts. Um, Kevin brings up a good point. Ryan at right guard. You know, he Ryan is really kind of stepping into his own. He felt like a little bit of a liability his first couple of years or his first year, and it really seems like he's finding his footing at guard, and he's just doing a really great job. It's fantastic to see. I love our offensive line. Walker's playing at such a high level. We have so many guys that are playing at a high level across that line. That's just, I don't know. You can't beat that. That's homegrown talent is the best. So speaking of homegrown talent, kind of the opposite here. How lucky are we as Packer fans that the Packers signed two relatively big free agent signings, and I would say not relatively, two big free agent signings in Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs, and to have both of them having the year that they are, I don't know that I've ever seen us be able to do that and replicate that success on two different positions. I know when we brought in the Smith brothers in 2019, I know that they had a lot of success from a pass rush standpoint, but so often you see teams make the splash at free agency and the players just don't perform like you'd want. I know years back, 2011, Namni Asamoah won Defensive Player of the Year, or was, excuse me, runner up in Defensive Player of the Year in 2009. 2009, he was a runner up in Defensive Player of the Year to Charles Woodson. 2011, he got this huge contract from the Eagles, and I don't think he was ever heard from again. So often it feels like guys sign these large contracts as free agents and they just cannot replicate the success they had. And I think both Jacobs and Xavier are playing some of the best football of their career right now, which is shout out to Gutekunst for not only dipping into free agency where you felt you needed to, but also getting guys who are out kind of performing the expectations of what you thought. At least in my eyes, they're outperforming. I know a lot of people when we signed Xavier thought we paid him way too much money for a safety. And I think if you ask those people that same question now, they'd say we probably underpaid him. So I don't know. I love to see it. Hopefully we can find a cornerback or two that can kind of give us the same production in this free agency class. Because I think that is our area of weakness right now. Maybe a pass rusher if we could find another one. But it's been great to see. And just kind of going off the injuries again, we talked about Purdy's without, or the 49ers were without Purdy. They were without Bosa. They were without Williams. They have a banged up CMC, and I see a lot of fans kind of discrediting the win because of that. And I know my guy Matt Ramage did a really good rant about it as well, but that's the NFL. You play without it. You play with injuries, and we played 2.5 games without Jordan Love. You bring in guys that are going to be able to shine in the role that they get, even if they're a backup. We brought in Malik. Malik's been able to keep us afloat when Jordan's out. We haven't had Jair in a while. You know, we had to play Minnesota, who has some stud receivers, and we're without Jair. Lost by 2. That's how it goes in the NFL. The year we won the Super Bowl, I think we had 16 or 17 guys on the injured reserve and were injured the entire season. Welcome to the NFL. It's unfortunate that the 3 players are 3 of their top players, but that's how it goes. You need to overcome these obstacles if you want to get to the postseason. Everyone's dealing with something injury wise. You know, teams are without players left and right. That's how it happens. Packers were without Jair and Edgerrin Cooper, who Edgerrin I think is our best linebacker on the team. So it's not like the Packers came in fully healthy against this decimated 49ers team that had no talent playing. 49ers still had plenty of talent. They just, just wasn't their day, and that's how it goes. As always, we can't have only sunshine and rainbows. There's always some things to worry about or work on, and I think the biggest thing as I look at that game is there's just too many times where I felt like the defense just plays so soft. Heading into the halftime, it felt like the Packers were just like not able to stop this 49ers offense. We went from being up 17 to nothing to 10 to 7 right before halftime. We just let them kind of come back in right away. Felt like momentum was completely on their side and they're getting the ball back. It just felt like just another one of these games where we're going to let this team kind of just stay around when we had all momentum and we had everything going our way. We just could not keep it going. The missed there's that fumble on the return that they ended up recovering, and it's like, oh man, if you would have had that, then maybe you can really put the dagger in them early. We missed that, but if that's all I got to complain about, I think that's a good day. Kind of looking around the NFC North, the Vikings beat Chicago in overtime last week, and then the Lions took care of the Colts. Right now, this division's it's a rocky one. The Lions are 10-1, the Vikings 9-2, the Packers 8-3, and the Bears are 4-7. I saw the GOAT Wes Hodkiewicz say that at 8-3, the Green Bay Packers have the best record by any team to be third or worse in their division entering Week 13 since the NFL merger in 1970. Just goes to show how competitive our division this year is, which, hey, that's good. The better teams that you play, the better you're going to be as a team, hopefully, and we have a couple more opportunities to show that as the season goes on. This week, the Bears play the Lions in Detroit, and the Cardinals take on the Vikings in Minnesota. It's going to be, I say this every week, but it's crazy that we're already at this point in the season. We're going to be eating turkey here before you know it. We're going to be, I don't know. It's going to be Christmas time before you know it. And it's going to be like New Year's, and then the season's going to be over. It's a crazy year, and how fast it goes. 2010 Packers were decimated with injuries, and whoever they plugged in totally killed it. Yeah, you had Charlie Pepper starting safety, which my boy Charlie right here. Oh, can't see it with Tony's comment here. My boy Charlie right here. I've gotten to know Charlie pretty well over the years. Really nice guy. Just through Desmond, and then Wade, I don't know if he's on, but Wade and I have gotten really good. So Desmond's my favorite player. Wade is Wade's favorite player. And we met at training camp years and years and years ago and kind of bonded over the fact that our favorite players were like really good friends with each other. And that's how Wade and I ended up becoming friends. And then we ended up living together and hanging out for a while. So I got Charlie and Desmond. But yeah, the entire season, Desmond wasn't starting. Nick Barnett was. Pepper wasn't starting. Morgan Burnett was. You had, offensive linemen getting hurt. Ryan Grant got hurt. Jermichael Finley got hurt. You were losing pieces left and right. We had Rodgers go down twice that year with concussions. There was so many guys that were on injured reserve that season that it was just mind-blowing. But you plug and play. You get guys come in, and they take care of business, and that's what you need to do. Let's drop this giveaway form. If you have not entered yet, feel free to enter. If you have entered, do not enter a second time. If you enter a second time, I need to filter it out, and it makes a lot more work. So if you have entered, just skip the giveaway form. You're still going to be entered in. It's all the same place. You don't need to do it multiple times. We're getting hot at the right moment. I sure hope so, Ben. We have a really tough stretch ahead of us. But if you can come out on that stretch, I don't think you're going to win every game in the stretch. That's just not realistic. But if you can come out for the most part ahead on that stretch, that's the big thing. But feel free to start dropping those questions. Let's get into some burning hot questions. As always, a huge thank you to my friends over at Legend Larry's for sponsoring the show all season long. They are making it so we can have awesome wings on game days, and not on game days, but especially on game days. You can get a dozen wings or wings for $10 a dozen. There's not a limit, I don't think. I think you can go and get 5 dozen wings if you so choose, if you can take it. But yeah, $10 a dozen when you're dining in during any Badgers or Packers game, which phenomenal deal. I always say this, but I need to get in there. I need to eat more wings. I love me some legendaries, and that is not just because they're paying me. They yeah, one of my favorite places in Green Bay. And it's kind of funny as we're waiting for some questions to come in. I've been going to legendaries for a long time. And legendaries, Larry from legendaries is kind of like this mythical figure to me at this point because I go to legendaries and legend Larry's right. He's a legend. And then when we started talking about working together for this season, he gave me a call and I was like, man, it's kind of surreal. I'm talking to the Larry of Legend Larry's. Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry about that. Chad, you're supposed to yell at me. But I was like, oh man, I'm talking to the Larry of Legend Larry's. And it was pretty surreal. Just for how long I've been going there, it just seems like a mythical person. Biggest concern. Jeez, I swear I'm not going through puberty again. I got a cold going on. Maybe I am. I don't know. Biggest concern of the Dolphins. Thanks for the question, Ron. My biggest concern really is their speed. They have some really good wide receivers, and we are short staffed on corner, and they have a lot of speed. So if I have a concern, that's definitely the biggest concern is making sure that we can somehow contain them and keep them in check. Tua's a good quarterback. He can make you pay on his leg with his legs, with his arm. I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup. We'll be talking about it a little bit more. Um let's see here. Been asking this of everyone. You get into a brawl, you can pick three people to help. One has to be a Packers coach, one has to be a Packers beat writer, and one has to be a Packers content creator. Who do you got? Now as far as coach, so all right, I got you. I better keep this up. So I can do a Packers beat writer, I can do a Packers coach, beat writer, and content creator. All right, here's my list. I'm going Butkus with the Packers. I think he's offensive line. He's the grandson of Dick Butkus. I think he could fight. When your last name is Butkus, I think he could fight. And I'm not going to give old coaches because I'm going current day roster. One, I can't fight, so I need someone who can kind of pick up some slack. So Butkus is my number one pick for coaching. This is a controversial pick, but a beat writer. I'm going the Wes Hodkiewicz, not only because he's the GOAT as far as a reporter and beat writer. I don't know if he's technically considered a beat writer. I'm putting him in that category, but I'm choosing him because he watches a lot of UFC and he likes wrestling and he's a big wrestling guy. So I think he might be able to do, a scorpion, what was it? Scorpion death drop, a stinger splash. I think he could hit something. And that's the only references I remember from wrestling from when I enjoyed it as a kid. Content creator. I don't think he's in here, but I like this question, Joe. I'm going Lambo Leo, who runs a meme page on Facebook. Lambo Leo looks like he can fight. He has military experience, and I think he could really back me up. So that's my choice. Butkus, Wes Hodkiewicz, the sneaky one. He could bite an ankle, hit you with a wrestling move, and then Lambo Leo. So that's my. I'm not going to be fighting. So that's the three I need. Derek says, do you think we need to get Reed involved in offense again, or more involved in offense again? Great question, Derek. I mean, obviously he's had a little bit of a quieter couple weeks. He had a touchdown against the Bears. I think our receiving core, like we kind of talked about before, we are going to see weeks where it's that player's time to shine. We saw against the Bears that felt like it was Christian's time. Against the 49ers last week, it felt like it was Romeo's time until he went out. So it just seems like every week there's going to kind of be a new flavor of the week as far as who's the receiver that week. I think Jaden's definitely going to get his opportunities, But I think what makes that receiving core so great is that you don't need to force a receiver to be the guy of the game. You take what is given to you and what the defense is giving to you. Bailey says her fantasy team says yes for Reed. So Bailey says yes, we need to get him going. I will take whatever receiver's open personally. Man, I got a cough. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to hold it in. I'm trying to stifle it. It's just not working. Shout out to my son and my wife for getting me sick. I don't go outside. I work remotely, so they're the only ones that could get me sick. Legendaries are the best. Yes, I agree. Steve got the link. Yeah, I got it again here. I'll drop it. So if you haven't entered, do so there. If you have entered, do not enter again. I don't want to see duplicates. It makes my life a lot harder, that's for sure. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Feel free to keep dropping them. Otherwise, we can kind of keep moving on too. It's not a huge deal. I am curious. George, I know you go to Steve. It should be there. It should be in the comments, like right above you. George, with you going to Legendaries, what flavor sauce do you generally do? Because I'm a big DOA guy. I love the heat and the way they balance the heat, but yeah, I'm curious if what kind of flavor sauce you appreciate you, Jenny. Thank you. Yeah, it's I knew it was gonna be a rough one because my voice has been so hoarse all day. I don't talk much during my work day because of what I do for work. I don't really have meetings and I don't have to interact with people, but it's definitely testing. I would love this if they could bring home $1 million from daycare instead of 1 million viruses. You know, I will say it's good. It's a good thing, right? My son is bringing home an immune system for himself and upping my immune system. It just sucks when I have to deal with it, especially as I'm trying to do a podcast and my voice sounds thrashed. George is a Buffalo guy. Jeez Louise. Derek says our punter is overlooked too. Yeah, I mean he's wheeling and dealing, which is the joke, of course, but he's looked phenomenal in what he does. Like we talked about, I don't remember the last time we had a punter that was so lights out. Maste had a decent year, but other than that, I mean, Whelan looks really good. What do I do for work? I am a website developer, so I do a lot of coding. I don't talk to people because I read code. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life and bug fix and build out certain features. I'm not going to say what company I work for because I like some sort of anonymity in my life. I'm sure it's the internet. You could probably easily find it if you looked hard enough. But yeah, I do web development. All right, let's do this giveaway. I hope you guys entered in. My mouse is being stupid again. So last week we had the scenario of Watson getting over 100 yards. He did not. It wasn't his week in the offense. He had that opportunity to probably put up 50 to 60 yards. But you know, he didn't hit our 100-yard threshold. We won, so we only have one giveaway this week. So I am going to pull those up now and we can kind of get started here. All right, let's see. Like I said, I don't share my screen right now because I want to make sure that I'm not I don't want to share people's information. So bear with me 1 second as I get this going. How is everyone's week going, by the way? Everyone having a good week? It's almost Thanksgiving, which is crazy to me. This mouse is gonna get broken. I got to do all the cooking for Thanksgiving again this year, which is fine. I don't mind that, but it's definitely a lot of pressure on to make sure that I don't overcook the turkey for my wife and my in-laws, but it should be a good time. So we have, just taking a look, making sure we don't have any doubles. I don't think we do. All right, so we have 23 entries. I will throw this up here and we are going to draw. Derek says first. Oh, my comments jumped up. Daughter's first regular season game on Thursday. She's pretty excited. That is phenomenal. Derek, I think the Packers still do this, but if you go to the help desk, I think she can get a certificate for her first game. So they'll print out something that says like my first Packer game or something like that. So make sure you go check in on that if you didn't do it. No luck hunting. That's too bad, Tony. I'm sorry to hear that. Jenny, I do all the cooking in this household. My wife isn't the strongest in the kitchen. I love cooking, so it's a great dynamic. But yeah, no rest for the wicked. All right, here we go. We have 23 entries, one drawing tonight. Good luck to everyone. Let's pull a jersey tonight or something fun. We haven't pulled one yet. Luke Francis, if you are in here, I need you to comment, and I need a 1 through 40 up or down, please. Wade, yes. So running joke, we always call my wife Kathy. Her name's not Kathy, it's Katie. But we call her Kathy, and she definitely covers the snacks. She's a snack fiend. So and let's draw a scenario this week while I'm thinking about it. Kathy covers the snacks. All right. We have Jordan Love, 3+ passing touchdowns. This might be a tough one. 49ers Dolphins have a pretty decent defense. So that's going to be an interesting one. That's a big milestone. Maybe let's bump that down. Let's do 2+ touchdowns. I think when I wrote these, I was probably feeling a little crazy. So Kathy McCombs. One day maybe I'll tell the story of Kathy McCombs on this page or on this live show. So Luke, I don't think I've seen you. If you're in here, if you're not here, fortunately you're going to forfeit your prize. We haven't had to forfeit a prize yet this season. So hopefully I hear from Luke by the end of the show. I need a 1 through 40. I already forgot Luke's last name. Luke, let me go back to it. We got Luke Francis. I hope you're in here, man. I need to see you in a 1 through 40. Otherwise, next week the person's gonna win your prize, whoever wins. Whenever I do it, I think maybe on Thursday. Like I said, it's gonna be a weird week next week, and my apologies in advance. Ooh, double or nothing. If Jordan hits, let me know your thoughts. Okay, would you rather? I'm cool with it. If Jordan does 3+, I'll do 2 giveaways. Otherwise, I'll do, if we're gonna do 2 touchdowns for 1 giveaway, I'm cool with that. So you guys let me know if we Kirby, one of these times, man, you're gonna get it. I have faith. It took Katie won last week. It took her 10 or 11 times of watching. So one of these times you're going to get it. We will see. I hope I trust you'll get it. You're in here each and every week. So I don't know. Maybe if Luke doesn't Luke isn't here, we're going to be having a double drawing next week, or maybe we'll just redraw again tonight. We'll see. But anyway, let's kind of talk about the Dolphins and Packers. So I have this game's obviously Thanksgiving game. It's the 38th time the Packers are playing on Thanksgiving. First time against an AFC opponent. Third time at home that they're playing on Thanksgiving. Last time was against. Oh wait, before I transition, Shout out to Nikolai Law for those giveaways. I got sidetracked. Without Nikolai Law, of course, I couldn't do these things. So huge thank you to Nikolai. They've been an absolute pleasure to work with. So fun to interact with. I love their style. And if you are injured, make sure you get Nikolai. So now let's talk about it. We started doing this last week. I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring out the sizing. If this is too small, please kind of keep giving me feedback. All right. So if I feel bad if I say draw again, because I always say that Luke has until the end of the episode. And if I feel like if we draw again, but if I get to the end of my story and he's still not here and we're going to be calling it, maybe I'll draw again. We'll see. But here's kind of how things break down. I don't, I was throwing numbers at you for a while there of each team's offense and defense and blah, 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 blah. And I felt like I was just like spitting numbers out without really a lot of meaning. So here is the kind of breakdown. If you're highlighted, it means that team's favored overall or stat wise has been better overall. So the Packers offensively down the board, their average offense, whether it's total yards, passing, rushing, points, all better. Defensively, the Dolphins definitely take the cake on that one, all except average points allowed. Now, I will say the Dolphins were without Tua for a while. That skew things offensively. So take that with what you will. Packers were without Jordan Love, so maybe that skews things a little bit. But it is something that you probably saw their offensive production drop a lot more. They had Tim Boyle playing 2 games. I mean, that should kind of be all you need to say. Turnovers, we have the Packers leading over the Dolphins in amount of turnovers generated, both interceptions and fumbles, but the Dolphins have taken care of the ball better. The Dolphins are looking at they've only given the ball away 12 times compared to the Packers 14, but the turnover differential, the Packers are +8 where the Dolphins are -1. Oh, Kirby, what you're going to learn about me if you stick around long enough. And I know my boy Sway Coda got you here on the stream, so shout out you, Sway Coda. I am a super picky eater. I've never had canned cranberries. I like fresh cranberries. I've never had them on Thanksgiving. I don't make cranberries on Thanksgiving. If I had to, I'd like to try both, I guess. But I like fresh cranberries. I like cranberry juice. So I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I'm probably disappointing. So I appreciate the question. I'm just disappointing in the answer. So that's kind of how the game's looking now. Like we talked about, the Packers need to slow down this Dolphins offense. They have a lot of speed. The speed can make you pay, especially when you're looking at cornerbacks who are a little bit more depleted. But no excuses like we talked about. You need to step up. You need to play. You need to find ways to slow them down. You need to get creative on the defense. Continue to take care of the ball. The Packers the last couple of weeks have been better on their penalties. They had one this week that I thought was going to be the drive killer. They ended up overcoming it, scoring a touchdown. We need to see that continued success going forward if we are going to win in this stretch. So it's going to be a tough matchup. I'm hoping the Packers can do it. Last time they played on Thanksgiving was the worst game I've ever been to. 2015 against the Bears. It was like 33 degrees. It rained the entire time. Absolutely miserable. And I'm hoping the weather's going to be better this week. I saw it's supposed to potentially snow on Thursday. So if you are coming to the game, make sure you're dressing warm. And hopefully it's a good game, but it's going to be an interesting matchup. Hopefully we're celebrating another victory Friday. And hopefully next week when we do end up talking, hopefully we're celebrating a Packers victory. So excuse me 1 second. Struggling here. All right. This week's story of the week's a fun one. I kind of screwed up. Let me get these photos ready. I'm going to do photos for this one. Um, I should have already had these, so my apologies for not being prepared. This week's been hectic, like I said, with my personal matter that I got going on, and it's kind of put a huge damper on a lot of things going on this week. So, um, fun story of the week. So this Sunday, December 1st, is the anniversary of one of the Packers' worst weather games. When people think of bad weather at Lambeau, they always think of the Ice Bowl, or that's what generally is going to be thought of anyway. However, there was a game that had weather that was much more difficult for the fans than the Ice Bowl, at least in the sake of travel. And Sunday marks the 39th anniversary of that. That game is the 1985 Snow Bowl between the Buccaneers and the Packers. So, if you are not familiar, which some people are not, let me get a drink and we'll dive in on it. Green Bay, a couple hours prior to the game, saw a massive blizzard hit. It caused many fans to be unable to even get to the stadium. Some fans were stranded on their way to the stadium. Lambeau Field saw under 20,000 people attend the game, leaving 36,000 fans unable to make it. There was so much snow and it was coming down so fast and so heavy that fans were taking pieces of cardboard and they were sliding down the aisles of the Lambeau Field bleachers. That's mind-blowing to me. And I'm going to show pictures here after we get through the story. The Packers, led by Lindicki, had over 500 total yards. The Buccaneers, in comparison, they were led by a young Steve Young. It was his second career start, I believe. He had 65 yards of total offense. Despite that massive difference in offensive production, the Packers only defeated the Buccaneers 21-0. Steve Young talked about it his second start, and he said, "We're in these white uniforms." This is a quote from him. "We're in white uniforms. I can't see. The snow is in my face. I can't see anything. I can't see anybody. And about the third quarter, I still hadn't completed a pass. I mean, I might have been the first quarterback in the history of the game to not complete a pass. I'm 0 for 15. So I get James Wilder, the running back. I said, look, I'm going to drop back. You cut in front of me. I'm going to shovel you the ball. I was 1 for 22. So a pretty bad production. Wearing white uniforms in a blizzard is probably not the best way to go. But the Packers won 21-0. Steve Young said, snow is piled so high on the field. I get hit. He shoves my face down in the snow and it gets packed in there and I can't breathe. So let's share some of these photos here. I always forget how to. So here's how the snow looked on vehicles. Like, look at this. And then this is what the roads look like as you're trying to get to Lambeau Field. Fans in the crowd. I've posted about this game before. It's such a cool game. I'm trying to find, like, they're trying to clear the snow. Just look at all that snow. I think there should be a photo of imagine trying to kick a field goal in those kind of conditions. Look how empty the stadium is. Just people being able to sit wherever they want. People are sliding down the aisles, just having a good time. What a game. That'd be a fun one to go to. Someone mentioned that if you walked by at that time, you could have just gotten in. You didn't even need a ticket. That's how few people showed up. So I thought that was a fun one. It's coming up on the anniversary, so I was like, we have to talk about it. Kirby Toyotathon lives on or rolls on. Yes, man. You sent me that meme after the game, which was great. I appreciated that. I love the Toyotathon conspiracy. I'm all here for it. I don't think we've seen Luke claim the prize, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I guess we're gonna redraw. I thought about would just double up. Bailey says, "Have I ever taken part in the pregame shoveling?" I have not, Bailey. I probably would have been. So if you don't know, the Packers used to, when you shoveled the Lambeau Field, they would write you a check. You'd get a check. I think it was like $10 an hour you got paid. They'd give you a check, but they no longer can do that. They have to pay cash now because people were taking that check and they were framing it rather than cashing it, and it was screwing up the Packers books. So now they have to pay cash. Where I was going to go with that is I haven't shoveled. However, if they did check, I probably would shovel just to have it for my collection. Well, I don't see a Luke. I saw a lot of people say that we should redraw it. So yeah, I guess let's redraw this. Let me pull up the wheel of the names here again. Let me see if I still have all the names. Luke. Sorry, Luke, you got cut, man. All right. Maybe it's Kirby's time to shine. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Is Ben winning again? We got Ben and Callie. All right, Ben. I think I saw you in here. I don't know if you're still in here. If you don't claim it in the next couple minutes, we are just going to roll it over. So, Ben, if you're still in here, 1 through 40, up or down, if you could, please. And yeah, appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. All right, let's get this off. I'm giving until 8:25 Central Time for Ben to claim it. Otherwise, it's a wrap on the giveaway. It just wasn't meant to be tonight. I saw Ben earlier, but if he's not here to claim it, you can't claim it. It's a much more superior way to spell Dakota. Besides, your name is Swag Coda. It's not Dakota. All right, there's Ben. I see him, 33 down. Looks like you got number 31. Congratulations, Ben. Appreciate you being here. Second time I think you've won this year. But that's what happens when you're here week in and week out. Odds are you're going to be winning stuff. So, I see some stars on it. You can't see it, but I think that means it's a big prize. Let's see, Ben. Let's see what the anticipation is. So, Ben, you won a signed jersey, man. Nice job. I don't know. I think you can actually see that signed jersey. So I have 3 jerseys. Why is everything rigged? It's good to teach your 3-year-old that life is going to kick you when you're down, Kirby, and that's a good life lesson, and I'm happy I can teach your 3-year-old that. So Ben, I have 3 signed jerseys. I'm going to say give me a number between 1 and 3. I have 3 assigned. Maybe I should write it down, but I have 3 assigned jerseys in my head based off the number, and give me a number between 1 and 3. I know we're kind of holding this on. I'm stoked someone won a jersey. That's awesome. This is a big moment for Ben, depending on what he selects here. It's going to be what he wins. Dude, Kirby, why are you doing that to yourself? Mom's a Vikings fan, so he knows all about letdowns so far in his young life. That is hilarious. So Ben chose number 2. Not the greatest of timing, Ben, but you won a Preston Smith signed jersey. So I still have your address. I will get that out to you. Congratulations once again. We are going to cycle back in a signed jersey somewhere. I'm going to try to like redo these and mix them up a little bit. So we will cycle these back in. So hopefully someone else can win a signed jersey again this season. Congratulations. Phenomenal stuff. Stoked for you, man. Appreciate you guys being here week in and week out. I think on that, I hope you guys all have a good Thanksgiving. Like I said, I don't know when we're going to be doing this again next week. I'm hoping Thursday. Keep an eye on my page. I'm sorry to like switch it up on you. I'm not going to make a habit out of it. It's just something unfortunately came up going on that I need to take care of. So we'll see you next week, hopefully Thursday, but keep an eye out on the page. Have a good week. Go Pack Go. Have a good Thanksgiving. Safe travels if you're traveling into Lambeau Field. Kyle, I know you're coming in for your first taking your kid, taking your kid to his first game, bringing an awesome cheese hat with some lights. So looking forward to that. Uncle Brian, appreciate you. I hope to see you guys soon as well. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well. Have a good Thanksgiving, safe travels, and we'll see you again soon. Go Pack Go, and talk to you soon.